Right, this video is all about why Catholics go on pilgrimage and why they don't need to, okay? Now, there's a good chance you get asked this question as an evaluation question. It's a biggie, okay? Now, if you do, what you do, right, when it comes to the reasons why it's important, they're all about how we can develop our relationship with God or show commitment to God, asking for help, and it shows love and service to God, if you want. It allows us to unite with other Catholics, but also Lourdes, all right, and even the Holy Land for that matter, that they're also Marian shrines as well. So it gives us an opportunity to show that sort of love and devotion to Mary as well. The great news with this topic, and I've got to be honest with you, I really do hope that it comes up as an evaluation question because it's really straightforward. Everything you say about why they go on pilgrimage, you can just say, you don't need to go on pilgrimage to do that. So, for example, the first thing I'm going to speak about is about developing your relationship with God on pilgrimage. Well, the alternative to that is just going to be, you don't need to be on pilgrimage to develop your relationship with God. So, it's a really straightforward topic. Something that's really important to you, okay? When it comes to the therefores, right? When you're talking about the impact, you've got to mention specific things they do on pilgrimages, okay? So you can say, therefore, that is why Catholics, when they're on pilgrimage to this place, do that for this reason, okay? So let's get into it. I'm going to give you 5, okay? I'm going to give you 5 reasons why Catholics go on pilgrimage. Now, the first reason, Catholics go on pilgrimage because it gives them an opportunity to develop their relationship with God. Easy, okay? Develop their relationship with God. Why? Well, because when they're on pilgrimage, they close off from the rest of the world, okay? They switch off from it and they're just focusing on their relationship with God, but also they go into places that are significant, where God has appeared, or even where Mary has appeared. So if you want, that God's presence can be felt more clearly, okay? So when it comes to the therefore, what you might want to say here is, therefore, that is why Catholics go on pilgrimage to places such as the Holy Land and visit locations like the Church of the Nativity, because it helps them to feel really connected with God, because this is where Jesus was born, okay? Which obviously would develop their relationship. They feel more connected. So if you want to rephrase your point and say it allows them to feel more connected with God, or it allows them to develop their relationship with God, either are fine. Personally, I think I'd probably go with it makes them feel more connected with God, okay? Point number 2 then. Now, pilgrimage gives us an opportunity to ask God for help, okay? Now, when you're explaining this, you can say, this is because if you've gone on pilgrimage, you have shown devotion, you've shown effort. You've probably spent a fair chunk of cash, right? You've shown effort to go and be there, proving to God your commitment to him, and it enables you really to be able to go, look, I'm making this effort, God, because I've got to ask you, I want to ask you for help. So Catholics believe that because you've shown that commitment, that it gives you the platform to make a prayer of supplication, a prayer asking God for help, okay, whilst on pilgrimage. So the type of thing you could talk about here, you could say, therefore, that is why Catholics, when they're on pilgrimage to Lourdes, this is a really good one to use, when they're on pilgrimage to Lourdes, they make prayers to Mary because her role is the intercessor, which means like the go-between, okay? She is the intercessor, which is spelled INTERCESSOR, that she is the intercessor and she can petition, she can ask God to answer our prayers. Alternatively, you could say that is why Catholics, when they're at the Holy Land, when they're visiting places such as where Jesus died, okay, in Golgotha, that they take that opportunity where they've seen that God will do so much for us to ask God, can he do something else for us, okay, to make a prayer of supplication there. Now, the third answer, pilgrimage gives us an opportunity to show devotion to God, or proves to God how much we love him. Why? Well, this is because going on effort, once again, takes a lot of effort, okay? Pilgrimage takes a lot of effort. We may have had to spend a lot of money, but also we've pressed pause on our lives so that we can be there committing to God. So it shows how much we love him, okay? So for the therefore for this one, you could just quite simply say, therefore, by Catholics going to the Holy Land. All right, that shows that it shows true commitment to God, because going to Israel is obviously, it's far away. That it's a challenge to go there. It costs a lot of money, but you were showing to God that He is worth it. He is worth going to these places for. You can say the same thing with Lourdes, okay? Maybe not with Holywell in Wales, do you mean? Because it's only up the road, right? But just mention those things. Essentially saying that it costs a lot, it takes a lot of effort to get to those places, so it's fine, right? So you therefore be like, therefore, going to the Holy Land takes a lot of effort, costs a lot, isn't necessarily the most difficult place to go, but you are showing to God that He is worth it. Try and use that phrase, because it's a nice one to use. Then, number 4, it's a really good answer, this one is as well, okay? Going on pilgrimage gives us an opportunity to unite with other Catholics, okay? And particularly we're talking now Catholics across the world. Why is that? Well, it's because people from all over the world visit pilgrimage sites to feel connected to God. So therefore, when they're on pilgrimage at places like the Holy Land or Lourdes, tried to mention this next bit, that not only did they interact with people from different countries, but they celebrate Mass together as well to feel truly united in worship of God, okay? That sounds really good, but essentially what you're saying is that Catholics all over the world come together and have Mass together, right? But the way you phrased it there will really help it to be like an A star, okay? Final one then, why it's important is going on pilgrimage is important because it allows us to show devotion to Mary, okay? And you can add to that and say devotion to Mary, but also to petition her, to ask Mary to help us. And this is because Catholics go to pilgrimage sites such as Lourdes, where Mary has appeared, okay? To feel close to her, to show devotion to her, but also by feeling close to her, they ask Mary, will she speak to God on our behalf? It's more likely, isn't it, that God will listen to Mary because she's a big deal. Do you mean she's got plenty of credit in the bank? Do you mean she risked her life in order to give birth to Jesus, okay? So God will listen to what she says. So what you would say for the therefore is you would say, therefore, Catholics visit the grotto at Lourdes to feel connected to Mary and to petition her, to ask her, will she speak to God on our behalf for Him to answer our prayers, okay? Now, when it comes to the alternative for this, guys, okay, you can just use the exact same points, but just say, we don't need to be on pilgrimage for this. So, for example, develop our relationship with God. You just say, you don't need to go on pilgrimage to develop your relationship with God. And the reason for this is that this is because God is omnipresent, okay? So God's presence can be felt everywhere, and there are ways in which we can feel connected with God without going on pilgrimage. So therefore, Catholics may feel connected to God by carrying out private prayer. Do you mean being alone and feeling that they are more connected with God because it's very personal then? But also by celebrating Mass in their local community. They can still feel connected with God, but also they can feel connected to God just by spending time with others because God is within us all, okay? So that's the first alternative you could use. The second alternative is you don't need to go on pilgrimage to ask God for help, okay? And this is because God is omnipresent and omnibenevolent. We don't have to prove to God that we need help, okay? He's also omniscient. He knows if we need help. So if we make a prayer of supplication, a prayer asking for help, at any point, He should help us. We don't have to prove that to Him. So therefore, Catholics might want to make a prayer of supplication, a prayer asking for help, just at home. Do you mean? Or when they're in their local church. Right? They don't have to be on pilgrimage to do that. The next one, they don't have to be, so number 3, don't have to be on pilgrimage to show devotion to God. They can do this in many different ways. This is because we can serve God in our local community easily. So, right, we can serve God or we can show love to God in our local community. This is because we can attend Mass, we can make prayers of adoration, we can just make prayers to God. But also, we can carry out His work to show love to Him in our local community. Okay, we can volunteer, we can fundraise, we can show love to others, we can become a teacher, right? We don't have to go on pilgrimage to worship or show love to God. There's so many other ways we can do it. Then finally, and I'm not going to mention sort of Mary in this one for the alternative, I'm just going to focus on the God ones, right? That Catholics can unite with other Catholics in their local community. They don't have to go on pilgrimage. This is because there are Catholics within their local community or within the country that they live in that they can still connect with. And therefore, that is why Catholics go to Mass in their local church every Sunday, to unite with other Catholics in their local area. But also, if they did want to unite with other Catholics, okay, a little bit further afield, well, they could arrange events. Do you mean they could arrange events across the diocese, across Wales, which bring Catholics together, all right, where they could run prayer groups or run, days of worship. They don't have to go on pilgrimage to actually do these things. So those are your sort of reasons why they're important, and the alternative is all to do with this is what you can do on pilgrimage, but you can actually do all those things if you weren't on pilgrimage, okay? So on this sheet, it gives you specific advice of exactly how I want you to structure those notes. Thanks for watching, and I hope it was helpful.